On the flip side, what I've realised is that work, ambition and motherhood can coexist. You will never sunbathe again for 18 years. What is our own measure of success once we've had children? Stop using other people's barometer for that, because it's not going to make you happy. Hello.
Hello, it's nice to have you on the podcast. I
Thank you
was
for
just
having me.
saying to you before we started recording that I've been gently stalking you for years now, which sounds like it should be illegal. But in this day and age, that's what social media does, right?
Yeah, I'm the queen of the gentle stalk, so don't worry about
I love that you've
that.
assumed it's gentle. But just for everyone who doesn't know, Isobelle, you are a career strategist. You have got 2 daughters. You've just come back from your second mat leave, and you've really built a social audience talking about your career as a woman and as a mother.
Mhm.
How did you even start that?
Well, I've always been the one that people come to for advice, like everybody's
Mm.
unofficial big sister in business. And I think it was because we'd all talk about our careers in our friendship group, but then I was always interested enough to follow up and to find out how people were faring and to offer a CV review if they so needed it. And I've always enjoyed writing, and that came quite naturally to me, that sort of advice, agony aunt sort of position
Hmm.
unofficially. And then when I was on maternity leave with my first daughter, I was working at the university as director of student recruitment, and I loved that job and I was excited to go back. But I'd seen firsthand the sort of gap between career advice and where we need to find it. It just didn't exist. And I think people
Mm.
exist on the internet. And I knew there was something in that. And I kept racking my brains with my sister. And I said to her, "What is my thing? I don't know what my thing is. I must know what my thing is. And I could tell anybody else what theirs is." And she said, "Well, you're just the corporate agony aunt, obviously." And literally the rest is history. So at 6 months, I was in the south of France having a little long summer holiday on my maternity leave. And I said to my husband, "Just be patient with me for these 4 weeks that we're here and let me get the reps in nap times and stuff, doing the videos. And I know that it's going to pay off." And I wanted to just hit 10,000 followers on TikTok by the end of the year. And I'd done that within the 6 months. And then literally the rest is history. It's all snowballed from there.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so here's probably a more pointed question. As a career strategist, what's the biggest thing you wish you'd understood about work and ambition and motherhood, but before you had children? So
Yeah.
what's the reality been like?
The reality is a system, a schooling system or childcare system with
Mm,
a work infrastructure that is broken. It does not fit for a working mum, and I actually could never empathise with that. For my colleagues that had children, male and female, I could not understand how difficult it was and how truly organised you have to be in order to actually make all of these things work. That's the negative. On the flip side, what I've realised is that work, ambition and motherhood can coexist, and
mm,
they aren't the absence of each other. They can actually all sit nicely together. It's just about pushing back against the system, trying to break the status quo and building something that actually works for you on your terms, which is kind of the biggest advice I want to give to women. And I'm sure we'll get into it, is that we just kind of go back to work and we think, well, this is it because this is how it was before. But, I've pushed back in my old role and I said I only want to work 3 days. They couldn't offer me that. It was fine. We left it amicably. And then I got this job on a 3-day basis. And I think
mm,
a lot of people don't have the wherewithal to be like, oh, actually, I can change this. I can
mm.
mould something to what I look for. And largely, a lot of the part-time roles aren't well paid. So I understand that that can be a limitation. But I think building sort of side hustles and other opportunities for ourselves gives us that robustness and that ability to mould something a bit more around us without it feeling like it's all or nothing.
Yeah, the the career term I'm hearing at the moment is portfolio career.
Yeah, I don't love that, but yeah,
You don't love it. Your face said you didn't love it
I
either.
know
As
I
soon
can't
as I
help that.
said it, I have exactly the same face. Okay, tell me why, because that interest that for me it puts it in a nice bracket where I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh, okay,
I do
shiny
get
new
it.
thing.
Shiny new thing that I think will become exhaustively used and lose its meaning. And I don't think I think it reflects the person who is self-employed at source and then has multiple
Okay.
other income streams. But for me, it's not going to be widely accepted or used by someone that's employed like me 3 days a week and then has other things going on, because the idea that I have
Mm,
a portfolio career on someone else's time is not going to be welcome. So I like the term. I think it really works nicely in a creative category or a freelance category. But I think if your core role is employment, I don't think a portfolio career is necessarily reflective of what it is to actually build something whilst you've got 50
I
million
mean,
other things going
also
on.
I'm tired. That's like, I'm just
Exhausted.
permanently, yeah. When you said you started to say exhaust, and I was thinking, I'm exhausted. And you said exhaustive. And I was like, oh, I can't go down that track
No, I'm
anymore, can I?
exhausted.
It is, but it's also exhausting thinking about,
Mhm.
I think you have to think about everything so much more. Like I've come back to work and I am so grateful to be in the job I'm in. But I hear other people where they're having to like calculate everything and everything's like a
Mhm.
strategic move. And
Mhm.
how old are your kids?
2.5 and 10
Oh,
months.
teeny tiny. I knew
Teeny
that from my
tiny.
stalking. Well, yeah. So my daughter is 5 and she's just finished her first year in reception. And I'm just understanding like the pieces of the puzzle and how they start to have to fit. Like this
Mhm.
summer, I don't know what we're going to do for the rest of the summer. We're only 2 weeks into our summer holiday break, and I'm like, damn, even the summer holiday clubs finish. The one I found finishes at 5. I'd finish my job at 5:30.
Exactly.
So how does that work?
How does it work? How does
Mm,
it work? It's there's not enough flexible employers either, because I'll work at 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. here, let's say, do the pickup, do bedtime, do dinner time, and do a couple more hours in the evening. I'm trusted to do that, but I
mm,
can't imagine doing it any other way. It wouldn't work for it. It wouldn't work for me.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And also, I this is going to be a mad thing to say, but I love my kids more than I thought I ever would.
No,
Sometimes I look at them and
same,
I'm like, I didn't
same.
realize I had the capacity to love you as much as because I really loved my
S-
career before. I
Yeah,
was like, "Ah, kids, yeah, fine,
yeah.
pop one out, go back after 7 months, and life will be the same, but there'll just be a tag along. Annoying. And now I'm like, oh, actually, I really fucking love you.
Yeah,
And I
that is
love
so
our time
refreshing.
together. And there is a boundary. And I don't work Fridays, and my Fridays are just for me and my kids.
Exactly.
Like,
I could
yeah,
not agree with you more. And that is the most refreshing take ever. And thank you for being so candid, because people just don't admit that. Like, I didn't think I wanted kids for a long time. And then
yeah,
I had them. And again, when I was going off, I was like, 12 months off? I don't know about that. Maybe 6. And then I got off and I was like, 14 months? Actually, I'm going to quit.
oh yeah,
And then, literally, and then to your point, I don't want to be a full-time stay-at-home mum at all. That is not me. I still like my
mm,
career. I couldn't do it. I'm not Miss Rachel. The mums that can do it, genuinely hats off to them, because that is
yeah,
one of the hardest jobs in the world. Being at work is easier for me than being a parent. But that being said, I only want to work a 3-day week because my goal was to spend the majority of the week with my kids. That's how I wanted to balance it. And that's what
yeah,
I've achieved right now. But truly, the days at work feel easier than the full-time days at home. So there's no right way to do
yeah.
it, is there? But yeah, it was refreshing to hear you admit that, because no one does.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll listen back to this one day and go to therapy about it. But like, I don't know. I see everything. So I've got 2 sisters, and they have both had brilliant careers, and one of them is a full-time stay-at-home mum now, and
Mm,
it's hard. That looks really hard. Like you said, actually, in a podcast episode that would have been released before this one, my
mm,
colleague Miranda, who has she's just come back from her first mat leave. Miranda and I are talking about like the realities of our work, and what it was like coming back from mat leave. And she said that I said to her, coming back to work is the easy part. And it's
yeah.
true. Coming
Hmm.
back to work is a privilege and it's the easy part because you talk to grown-ups again. You use your brain and you're kind of like cherished for your knowledge again, or you can just get into something without the distraction. Your time is your own again. Whereas on my
Hmm.
Fridays, I'm like, are we doing this again?
Not
Do I
Little
have to
Lancashire
tell you
Village.
again? Yeah, Little Lancashire Village. What's that?
That's like, do you know one of those soft play centres? There's like 9 of them in the area. I've been to them all.
Yours has got a cute name. Mine's called
Oh,
Berserk. I'm
yeah,
not
no,
even shitting you. Let's go to
no.
Berserk. It's £1 a meal.
That
Excellent
sounds like
value.
numbers.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It is,
The
and
word
that's just mine.
berserk.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So,
Mm,
as a career strategist, the people who are listening to this, I would bet are either imminently about to have a child or they've just had a child and they're genuinely interested in how their career is going to change or what that means for them. You have a huge audience. I would also bet, correct me if I'm wrong, quite a lot of people ask you about this online. So what do you tell them when they ask, right, what is it like having a baby and having a career as well? Can I do everything? Should I do everything? We don't say do it all anymore, but quite often we do end up doing everything, right?
Yeah.
What's the reality?
I saw something recently that was like, I don't want to do it all. Like, we can do it all, but I don't want to do it. And I
Was it
like, do you
me?
know what?
Was it on my
probably.
Instagram?
It was probably you. Because I don't want to do it all. But I do really believe in reasons and seasons. So maternity leave for me, if that's your season of literally just nesting, then so be it. Like, don't feel bad about that. But similarly, if 3 days after you give birth, you feel like you need to pick up your phone to do something work-related, please own that. Like, whatever is right for you. And I think we're so easily swayed by what society says. For me personally, a lot of people felt like I'd both times jeopardized or compromised on my maternity leave to continue, to grow my business. But for me, this is cliche. For me, it wasn't about maternity leave, which is 1 year of my children's lives. It's about eternity leave. So from the time that I'm 40, I really want the freedom of time to be able to move and travel with my children, educate them privately at home if I want to do that. I want options, and options come from like compromise to begin with, which is where I've been at. So I got a lot of criticism for that. But I would do it all over again, Fliss, like without a second thought. And then as it relates to sort of becoming a mum and then considering returning to work, people get really caught up on the feeling of going back to work. The dread is work. But I actually think that dread is misaligned and misapplied. It's actually dread about leaving your children and leaving the house that you built around you, putting them in childcare if you need to. And so I think we need to really be able to quickly draw a line between what we dread about our work and what we dread about leaving, push and pull, because it can become this massive thing that feels so overwhelming that you could talk yourself out of doing anything.
Oh my God, absolutely. And I've already told you
Yeah.
that actually coming back to work for me, the work was the joy.
Joy.
I would caveat, in my experience from what you're saying, actually the two pillars that you've mentioned, the home you've built and the work you're going to, the bit in between that's missing is the structure, the help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, as we were talking about before recording, this is kind of where your village might come in, or like had come in back in the day, but no woman has ever lived the experience that we're going through today. And we have come so far as women, and I'm so grateful for all the work our mothers put in before us, and my colleagues who had kids 10 years before me put in for me. But equally, I even having to have, I lent on people like you anonymously. You didn't know who I was, but I lent on people, creators like you, telling me the truth on the internet, or like giving me that understanding of, oh, actually you can do this and you can make this choice and back yourself because that's the right thing to do. So what structurally could people do? What tiny incremental changes could women make to give themselves a little bit more confidence? Is it finding your person on the internet to follow? Is it reading the right books? Is it completely logging off entirely?
I think, look, I personally, completely logging off entirely, I completely can understand that some people that is the right thing for them. But what I would urge you to do or to consider is, if that's going to be your option, that you ask your employer or your manager to send you one email a month with a brief synopsis of what's going on in the business. You don't have to read it monthly, but I think your return to work will feel much easier if after 12 months, let's say, you read 12 bulletins chronologically and you go back with a feel for what the business is like, because truly so much changes whether you're at work or not. So don't think that the changes happen because you're not there. But I just think that little bit of context and nuance makes returning so much better. Like, if I could petition for anything, it would be that.
Surely we could use AI to do that as well.
I know, it's not a big ask, is it? Like,
No.
there's enough company comms go out. Just do me a synopsis once a month so I can know who the starters are, leavers are, investment is, new product SKUs, whatever it is that the industry that you're in. And then on top of that, I think listening to podcasts in your industry or category, or with, female founders or business women, employees that you admire, listen to them. passively over like the 3 months before you return to work. Just little things like that. You might pick up 5 anecdotes over 5 months, but you never know what meeting you'll be in where those anecdotes come to fruition and you feel immediately confident because you've been able to have input. For me, like that invisible string always puts me in good stead. I'll have a call, 4 weeks ago about something that's seemingly irrelevant, and then just today I mentioned it on a call and I seemed like I know what I'm talking about. It was kind of a little bit of luck, but I'm thankful for that. And then for me, largely 2 colleagues and one of our co-founders, so I've kept in touch with those 3 people. They know that they can text me if it's a silly thing or a big thing. I'm available. That's my way of doing it, because then when I come back I don't feel like I'm a stranger again. I've got 3 people in my corner, and it's really paid off. But it's not for everyone. If you don't love your job, I can understand why you wouldn't do that. If I hated my job before I went off, I wouldn't have done it. I would have gone cold turkey, and I would have probably looked for a different opportunity to return to, if I'm quite frank. But these little tiny exposures, that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, and not just cutting yourself. I mean, I just went. I was like, I gotta go. I'll see you later.
Fair. Just get like
But
that.
I have a different relationship with my manager, who was definitely totally allowed to text me. And I actually, do you know what? I didn't just disappear, because I went for lunch with her. Took the baby.
Exactly.
Like, she wanted a cuddle with the baby, so I
Yeah.
took the baby, and I remember she was in white trousers. She was in white trousers, and he did the biggest shit you've ever seen. And she was like, she handed him back. Oh, I'll have to remind her of that when I see her next. She literally handed him back, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, she's got 3 kids. She knows the crack.
Good.
She wasn't even remotely cross, but she was like, I've got to spend the rest of the day in these trousers. She did not have shit on her. Just for absolute clarity, he didn't do it. It held. I think that's on a Kit and Kin nappy, if anyone needs a recommendation. So you have built this monumental community, of which I am part. What is the most common theme of the conversations? Is it mainly women who follow you? Is that a stupid question to ask?
Yeah, I would say just genuinely data, so not profiling anybody, but like 18 to 45-year-old women, I would say. Typically women that are maybe graduate to middle management looking to navigate that, or middle management to senior management looking to sort of take the next steps in their career. The recurring thing that people come to me for, there's a few subjects, right? Pay is always one of them. They think they deserve to earn more. They don't know how to have those conversations. And the similarly negotiation when they're negotiating a new job. A lot of women come to me with hypotheticals. So I'm thinking about applying to this job, but if I do, I might have to move to Dundee. I literally had this message last week, and I don't know what to do. Shall I apply for it? And I always go back, and it's always women that are sort of have analysis paralysis, where they're thinking, oh, well, what if this happens and this might happen? And I always urge them to apply or put themselves forward and throw the hat in the ring, and then consider the options after the fact, because we can talk ourselves out of any opportunity. We're always like, well, when I've got this amount of experience, then I'll apply for something like that. Why don't you just apply and then see what happens? And I think if we just took that attitude a bit more, we'd largely get a lot more well-paying opportunities that reflected our worth and value. But I think we're so hesitant to check that we've got the right exact skills or experience or timing. It's never going to be the right time. That's not honestly like one of the advice that I think makes the most immediate impact, is saying just apply for it and then we'll talk after that. And they'll apply and they'll be like, oh, I got it. I'm like, yeah.
It's so interesting that pay is probably the biggest theme in what people talk to you about, because obviously at the minute are we still in cost of living? I feel like that started and it never ended. Like Andy Burnham's come in. Yeah, Andy Burnham's come in, promised us the world. So let's see what happens there.
Come on, Andy.
But yeah, I think for women, especially women who have had children, money is a really big consideration. And that must be one of the things you wished you'd known before you had kids, was like how to handle those conversations. You've obviously learnt by doing.
I had this. Do you remember that Sir Raven from when you? I don't know. Did you ever watch that when you were younger?
I did, but I think I might be slightly older than you, because that's just not quite my time period.
But I had this premonition in my 20s when I wasn't even sure if I wanted kids, but I knew that in order to have them and be happy about that decision in my life, that I would need to work incredibly hard and get as far ahead as I could. And then the day I found out I was pregnant, I was on a really good salary, and I was going to get full mat leave pay for like 9 months or something. But the day I found out I was pregnant, for some reason I just decided that under no circumstances would my standard of living change or dip, nor did I want to make a decision based on fear or concern about returning. So I saved every single penny that I was earning for that 12 months. And so I did, for some reason, have that foresight to save my money. And I'm so glad I did. And whenever my friends tell me they're pregnant, I say, start saving now. Start saving right now. And they're like, well, kids don't cost anything yet. It's not the point. It's about having the empowered decision making so that you could actually take another 6 months off if you so wanted to. And yeah, I don't know why, I'm so glad that I had that wherewithal. And then similarly, I had the idea that side hustles would afford me optionality. So I was building stuff on the side. And that sprint that I just mentioned, where I just absolutely smashed my career as quickly as I could before I had any children and I didn't have any responsibilities or dependents. I split it into three: the sprints, the side hustles, and the savings. If you can master at least two, if not three of those before you go off, I think you'll enjoy the experience a hell of a lot more than doing it from a scarcity perspective.
And so in reality, what happens if you don't do all three of those? Because there will be people listening going, God, there's quite a lot of pressure suddenly to do all of this stuff, and I am a deer in the headlights. Like, it's not all over, is it? That's kind of the message.
No,
I
absolutely
would
not.
exactly, like, really having a baby hasn't changed an awful lot for me, which I'm
No.
very grateful for. But you can, like I was saying to Miranda, you kind of walk back in and every hour counts more than ever. But
100%.
I feel like you're more productive in that time, and I've got less time for shit. I'm just like, I've got to crack on now.
Yeah, I like to think of it as like a career renaissance. So like we always talk about rebranding and reinventing. It's like, it's not that, we aren't brands. We're human beings. And I think what happens is you go off, you have your children, whether you've got savings or side hustles or not, it doesn't matter. You have a completely new perspective on life. That might be positive, it might be negative, but fundamentally perspectives just shift because there's nothing like childhood. You can't, there's no simulation, it's kids or not, you know? So I think there's so much that comes from this perspective shifting experience that allows you to prioritise or deprioritise better, that allows you to be really protective of your time and your boundaries, and even like my friendships, who I can be bothered to spend time with and not, because I hardly get any time to myself. How I spend time with my friends is different. I don't want to catch up with them. I don't want to just catch up on a coffee. That's not a good use of my time. So do they want to come and exercise with me? Because if they do, then that's how we can I just think it changes so quickly, your perspective on life and time. And I really just focus on enjoying the passage of time. Like, that is all we've got. Tomorrow is not promised. And I don't know why, but children really put that morality into perspective for me personally anyway.
They do for me. And for me, I feel like all we do is talk in memes here. But it was that meme where someone says, when your kids are kicking off, you're having a really tough moment, just imagine that you are transported back and you're just spending that time. You're actually 80. You're lucky enough to reach 80 and you've been transported back. And that does work for me. I'm sat there and Frank is screaming in my arms or kicking me and I'm trying to get him to sleep and it's like 7:30 and I'm like, go to sleep. And then I'm like, oh God, okay, imagine if I'm experiencing this or I'm dreaming this. I don't know. It sounds like I've taken a load of drugs, but I haven't. Like, it's
not
just
today.
Not today, not right now.
We were visiting Tom's grandma just before she passed away, where she lived like every single day. We'd take the kids every single day. And everyone would stop us and say, God, those were the days. So we've started saying to ourselves, these are the days. These are the days. I know sometimes it's really hard and sometimes it can be shit, like you're allowed to say that. But these are the days. I'm so guilty of what's next in myself past what's now. And that has been like my key focus for this year, just really slowing down and being like really present and enjoying every bite of food and not thinking about the dishes when we're finishing the porridge. Just enjoy the porridge. The dishes are always going to be there. But yeah, it's just completely shifted me.
Have you set yourself OKRs? Did you just say, my key focus for the year? My husband does this.
Yeah. Every year. That's the one I can share, just about presenteeism. Largely, I knew this was going to be another year of hard graft compromise. You know, I give up. If you could understand what goes into content on an evening and a weekend, you would be alarmed. You'd think, whoa, get a life. But
short-term pain, right? This
long-term
is what
gain,
you
yeah.
wanted for your not portfolio career.
Yes, this is what
I'm
I
going to force you
wanted.
to use that about yourself before the end
Do
of
you
this
know what?
podcast.
Do you know what? I was going to circle back to that. I've made a note. But on portfolio career, I think it's the terminology, it's not the idea. But I think portfolio careers has typically been reserved for like the upper echelons of society who have a C-suite of portfolio, and they've like got to like 60, 70 years old, and then they have a few non-exec director gigs.
Fractional job.
And I
Yeah.
just find that to be like a completely unaccessible term. And it's like the custodians of that are people that have had like nepo baby spoon-fed networks. And I think like for us girlies, I love the idea and the sentiment, but I think the branding, I think we need a rework.
I think that's up to you, mate.
I know,
Mic drop. It's all about you now. You've got to think of something to do. Okay, so talking about transporting forwards and backwards in time, have we gone on to Bernard's watch? Is that what this is? Tell me you know what that is. Right, okay, fine, you do. Good. What would you tell your pre-children self about your career or about careers in general?
Careers in general. I just think there's no guidebook, there's no handbook, there's no rule book. Like, what anyone else is doing is none of my business. And comparison really is the thief of joy when it comes to working motherhood. You know, I can quite comfortably look at people that with really robust families around them and feel really jealous. And what I'd expect in terms of village hasn't been what's transpired in my adult life. And I feel like sad about that very regularly. So I think I would tell myself to continue being independent, and actually that independence isn't toxic, which is how I used to label it. It's actually going to be a good survival skill, and that's how you're going to survive 2 under 2 whilst building a business, whilst still going on podcasts and doing speaking gigs and still trying to make time for your younger sisters who you basically look after as a parent. So I think I tell myself to enjoy my pre-children life a little bit more and stop being so serious all the time. With that being said, I have no regrets. I did so much. I went on every girls' trip. I never missed out. But it's like that silliness and that spontaneity, you can only really appreciate it after the fact. But if someone could have told me, Izzy, you will never sunbathe again for 18 years. I would have been like, let me lie down on this beach in Italy for 1 more hour. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God,
If I knew.
Yeah. Someone was saying this to me the other day. I think it was one of my colleagues who's a bit older than I am and has kids who are older than mine. It might have been Lisa again. And she said, yeah, we're going on a city break or something. And I was like, you're what? A holiday where you move around?
Oh.
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that is not me anymore. A holiday is lying down, taking it in shifted turns for one of you to be able to lie down, the other one being in the damn swimming pool.
Exactly.
Or building sandcastles on the beach, because my kids are only 5 and 2.5. So one thinks she can swim and the other one absolutely cannot swim. So it's just like a matter of keeping them alive and keeping them safe during the day, and then at night sleeping. Just, I've got to get my sleep in. Like, I wish
we literally go to bed at 7 o'clock on holiday. Like, there's no, let's have a drink by no night.
If there's a balcony, I'll do one. I'll do one bev on the balcony. But Aaron's such a night owl, and I'm like, honestly, what I've learned about myself, especially in the last 2 weeks, is I need a lot more sleep than he does.
Yeah,
like that man can survive on nothing, and I am the worst human being in the world if I don't have enough sleep.
We're the other way around. So that for a long time made me not want to ask him for nighttime help because I felt sorry for him. And then I was like, give your head a wobble, you're exhausted.
Oh my God.
Now we split it.
Chat with Aaron for me, because I'm still doing all of the nights. Although the benefit to that is Frank is the only one who cries at night anymore. Amber will just get up and come into our bed. But Amber and Aaron both get up at 5:30. And I'll be lying in bed like, will you not just shut up?
No.
The TV's on, Bluey's on, Aaron's watching stupid videos about motorbikes on his phone. If I go in with Frank in the night, we get to sleep until 7:30, uninterrupted.
I know.
Chef's kiss.
I know. I choose the big girl. That's the better option. It's one traumatic wake in the night, but I can probably get to stay asleep till 7, which is a lot.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Everyone's got a preference of child, right?
Yeah.
This is quite a big question for you. What practical advice would you give women who want both a fulfilling career and children, but they're worried they might have to choose between the two? Do they have to choose between the two?
It depends how willing you are to push against what is in front of you. So to speak from first experiences, like I'm building a life where I work 3 days a week in an employed job, so that gives me my stability. Plus, I love it; it itches my brain in the right way. 4 days a week in the daytime, I'm looking after the kids, but evenings and weekends, that's when I generate my extra revenue, whether that be through brand deals, a few other partnerships that I've got going on, speaking gigs. It depends how willing you are to literally put yourself out there to do the extras. If you want to live within the confines of what's in front of you, then I do think there's periods of time where you have to choose between reasons and seasons, children and career, in terms of like one takes slightly more priority and then you can take the other. It depends who you've married. It depends who you have kids with, right? Like, I honestly think that's one of the biggest decisions that you could ever make. Like, ignore what I said earlier about sprints, savings and side hustles. If you're going to have a child with the wrong partner, and I don't mean are you going to stay with them forever, I mean if you had to co-parent because you were separate, would they still be a good partner to have a child with? If that decision is wrong, then all of this advice that I'm going to give you in vain. And like, it's not till now that I've been able to appreciate that, especially with 2 children, that I couldn't do it on my own. I'm not single mum material right now. Like, that is not within my repertoire. So to answer your question, it's a rubbish one. But if you're going to live within the constraints of society, which is nursery hours that don't fit career hours, that don't fit school hours, that don't fit holiday deals or, you know, surplus holiday charges, then you probably are going to have to pick and choose a little bit. But one of the exercises I do with all my friends when I ask them how they're returning to work, are you going to put in a flexible working request to go from 5 days or 4 days? They say they can't afford it. I say, okay, well, why don't we just use an AI tool, let's say ChatGPT, put your pay slip in there, work it all out after tax, what's it actually going to look like, consider your childcare costs. Honestly, so many times, many of them are just losing £200 a month. If £200 is the thing that's stopping you from going back, how can the person that you've had children with them, or how can they contribute more, or how can the other skills that you've got, how can you monetize them? I just think sometimes we just blindly go back without considering other ways in which we can make it work to actually accommodate. Maybe we want to see our kids 1 day of the working week, you know?
And I think that's where the gap is missing. Do you remember earlier we were talking about the pillars and what was missing in the middle? And you're saying sometimes we blindly go back. We totally do blindly go back because there's no one there. Like, there's no health visitor for your career as a mother or as a woman. Like, you can have that one for free. But there isn't. Like, there's no, you're kind of that person. That's what I meant by like having someone like you to follow online to say, or like Zoe Blasky, who does Motherkind, or like there's so many examples of women who are out there saying, guys, this is how I did it, and this is why I did it. Zoe is a wonderful example, and she built her current career while she was at her old job, and she built her career around school hours. So she does the school hours because that's what she wanted. And she's a bloody success as well.
Exactly. That's the thing, though. That's what you just said. That's what she wanted. That's what we have to understand about what is our own measure of success once we've had children. Stop using other people's barometer for that, because it's not going to make you happy. Like, there's businesses like the 5-Hour Work Club. I don't know if you've seen them online. The founder of that would be a brilliant guest for you. And it's jobs where they work 10-3, largely online, fully remote. And not terrible salaries, which a lot of part-time jobs are, because it's 5 days a week, but it's within school hours. I think like something like more things like that need more promotion and advocacy, like from people like Jolie Braley, who does amazing work in this space. Like,
phenomenal.
Phenomenal woman. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be right for everyone. I'm not saying we can all access these privileges. I'm so aware of how privileged I am. But I do think there's mediums in which we can have this dialogue and discussion to ascertain whether or not we can return to work in a slightly different way. And similarly, so many people told me not to quit my job after my first mat leave. They told me that was going to be the wrong decision. Don't do it. And I just knew in my gut that it was going to be okay. And I did it, and it was the best thing I ever did.
You're a good egg. I'm going to play this or that with you now. So I'm going to fire at you some this or that questions. I've filtered out all the bluey ones because I've asked them to people now. I would say that Miranda, when I asked her, I asked Tinya K, who came on, who is the founder of 5 Times More. Tinya K came on and I asked Bluey or Bingo, and we all laughed. And I said, Miranda, I bet you've not heard of Bluey or Bingo. And she said, no, I do know him. I was like,
oh, there you go.
Incorrect. Okay. Having an extra hour in the day or an extra 20% confidence?
I don't need more confidence, so I'll take the hour. If
Oh my God, I
anything.
love the confidence in your voice, even when you said that. The way you looked me in the eye, I was like, damn, okay, fine.
An extra
Bloody
hour
hell.
would be transformative for me to channel all of that confidence into more stuff.
Okay, fine. I'm probably picking the confidence. Okay, being known as the reliable one or the fun one. I feel like you bridge both, so I don't know which one you're going to pick here.
Thank you. I try and give fun big sister energy. But I am the person that will bail you out of prison, but I probably have helped you get there too. So I suppose that's both.
Are we tallying prison with fun? Don't answer that question.
No.
Okay, so you haven't experienced this yet, but take this as a nursery vibe then. Nursery
Okay.
photo day or annual performance review? Which one are you doing?
I hate the idea of nursery photo days. I don't put any pictures of my children online. I think it's so dangerous. So I would choose the performance review through and through. I do one every day, 365 days a year over nursery photos.
So my son is at a new nursery and this is a scam. They do at least 3 nursery photos a year and you cannot, as a parent, not buy them. Well, you can. How can you not buy
No,
them
you
when
can't.
someone presents you with this angel?
Adorable picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, a 4-day work week or children who always put their shoes on first time.
4-day work week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
I
not in
mean,
that
I've already.
shoe. I have to do the shoes still, so I don't know. I feel like
Okay, I'm
I'm
coming
not.
back to you in a
I'm
year
not at
with that
your
question
point.
because
Yeah, yeah,
you're wrong, and I'll let you be wrong.
yeah.
Having it all or knowing what actually matters.
Knowing what actually matters any day of the week.
Knowing exactly where you'll be in 5 years' time, or knowing you're on the right path today.
Right path today. Does that surprise you?
No, but I'm very type A, so I think I would like to know where I'm at in
Okay.
5 years.
Fair. I've got a
Just
plan.
need to know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would like to know the details down to every single last thing. Thank you very much. Okay, this one's a big one. A promotion that comes with more responsibility or a role that comes with more flexibility.
Same salary.
Hmm?
Same money.
I mean, you're the first person to ask me a question back on this or that. You can make up the rules.
I choose flexible because I believe in my ability to make money in the free time outside of the role. Yeah.
So actually, it
flexible.
depends if you were making enough money. Obviously, the flexibility is key.
Yeah.
That's the point, isn't it? It's just a
Yeah.
stupid question, actually.
No. No comment.
Getting back your that means yes. Getting back your pre-baby energy or keeping your post-baby perspective.
Keeping post-baby perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired. But I feel like I might be tired at this age no matter what.
Yeah, and I'm aggressively motivated now because I've got 2 kids to look after. So, like, I'm
Aggressively
happy with
motivated
this. Aggressively,
is
yeah.
excellent.
Scary.
Petrifying. Thank God this is the last question. The ability to say yes more easily or no more easily.
No.
And I don't mean to your kids.
No, no, no.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
totally agree. Saying no
yeah,
is still an
no.
absolute nightmare for me.
Yeah, or just no immediately because sometimes I'll be like, let me think
Mm.
about that. When I just know the answers, just say no, no.
Yeah, and what I'm actually thinking is, how do I say this in the kindest way that isn't an
Yeah,
insult to them, but it's not an
yeah,
insult to them? Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I've got really good, sorry, with
go on.
when someone asks me to do something for free now. Or they'll say, would you speak at this? And I'll say, yeah, I can do. What's your budget? And they'll say, we don't have any. And I'll say, okay, thank you. Bye. And old me would have been like, yeah, okay, I'll do it for the exposure. So that's
Yeah,
a good
I
no.
think that's. How long did it take you to get there, though?
Good 3 or 4 years.
Confidence wise, I don't mean cost wise, I mean confidence
Oh, it
wise.
wasn't about confidence. It was about feeling like I couldn't command. I'm probably very unrelatable to most people, but feeling like I couldn't command the price point, yeah, was a big thing. I felt like I had to do the reps first, more than anyone.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
But you're there now.
I'm here now.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
It's been
It's
amazing.
such a pleasure.